Today, let's review the state of the nation for Tesla, the business, and the stock. At the same time, the stock has fallen to under $300 from its height at $480 mid-December. The progress that really matters are all moving forward nicely. Tesla has been able to transition to the new Model Y, which is by all accounts a massive hit, starting deliveries in China, with the other factories closely following. The new affordable vehicles are still on track. In giant news, Tesla started rolling out full self-driving in China. As Tesla investors, we need to separate the signal from the noise, focus on what really matters. That's why I'm so happy to have Larry Goldberg joining us. He is very good at separating the signal from the noise. And I know that you're a long-term investor. You don't follow the stock as, until you hear from somebody like me or somebody telling you what the stock is. But what matters to you is following the business. So I wanted to ask you if you think that, given where we're at now, mid-February, given what we're expecting to happen in 2025, are you happy with every single development that we've heard so far?
Oh, yeah. I added stock to my portfolio last month, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy about that. Yeah, I think things are going incredibly well. I think we have, a year ahead of us of amazing announcements. By the way, you mentioned that the Model Y is being well received. What you fail to remember is that for the first time, they're rolling out a new product in all their factories simultaneously. That's enormous. I mean, there's only going to be a month or two gap between what's happening in China, what's happening in Texas, what's happening in, California, and what's happening in Germany. This is amazing.
So start off the bat, right? Model Y was released, the revised Model Y. They released it in early January, which is great, right? They announced it. And then they said, cars will be delivered in May. So everybody who bought it in January, they said, you won't get your car till May. Now, they could have done that for a couple of reasons. One was they were still selling the old Model Y, so they wanted to separate out that a little bit. But now they announced that, mid-February, hey, we're actually going to deliver it to you now. I'm very happy with that. Now, I wish that they were, like you said, the 5 factories, they were all producing it. But the sooner they can transition, the better. But regardless, Tesla Model Y, right, is, as far as you're concerned, I am. It's a fantastic car. Came out, it's going to be a major hit, if not better than the old car. Cost less. What's your assessment of what the Model Y, the new one, is?
Well, if you study the ARK Invest big ideas, there is a graph there that shows the trend of cost of vehicles. And it's quite clear that the Model Y vehicle cost is going to be very significantly lower than the previous Model Y. That was true of the Model 3 as well. Actually, somebody had a graph out. One of the retail investors that posts some really good stuff had a chart out of cost of vehicle. I think it was, I'm almost sure it was AJ, the cost per vehicle. And it has been consistently dropping and dropping and dropping. This Model Y, after the initial introduction, is going to be a real impact on the cost per vehicle, very real impact on the cost per vehicle. And of course, we haven't even begun talking about the Cybercab, which is going to be amazing drop in cost per vehicle.
So that's the key innovation, was the Model Y. And then beyond that, right, we think that the new affordable vehicles are still on track. Is there anything there that you're kind of concerned about? Like, some people are saying, we haven't seen it, we should have started seeing them by now. But so far, every indication we have is that it's still on track.
Yeah, this is something we don't know about. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't yet have visibility on it, and it is getting late in the day. I mean, to make this happen by mid-year, it's getting late in the day. We should start seeing some, disguised vehicles. Maybe it uses the Model 3 and Model Y shape. It's possible. And we have seen some Model Ys with, some tops over them. So it's unclear to us yet what's happening. Maybe it's a modified Robocab shape. Nobody knows.
Yeah. So we, as early or as late as recent as last week, we had Lars Morvey being interviewed, and he said, that the more affordable vehicles are on track for the summer. So I don't know what summer is. Could be June, July. Regardless,
Could be
it's still
August,
on track.
September,
Sure, still on track.
October,
I,
November.
I'm now. We don't need to debate it here. I've done
Yeah.
a few shows on this, but I'm now of the belief that these more likely than not, there's three things that can happen, right? It's they take the Cybercab and they put a steering wheel to it, and that's the more affordable vehicles. They can have two brand new vehicles, like not the Model Y, but a mini Model Y, a larger Model Y. It needs to be a Model Y because they said it's going to be in all four factories, and that they're using the Model Y production line. I think at this point it's going to be the Model 3, Model Y, old shapes, and they strip down. That's for me is like maybe that's why we haven't seen them
I
yet.
think you're wrong.
So okay,
I
yeah,
think you're wrong.
I
I
don't.
don't think
I
they'll take the old shape.
oh,
I think they're committed to the new design. Look, they're design forward. They're going to look at design. So we can agree to disagree, but I'm not betting. I'm not
yeah,
betting
me
on
too.
this.
I'm not betting it either. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so those are the cars. Now we've got the most important one. It's full self-driving. And I wanted to ask you how are you feeling about the full self-driving? This was what Ashok Goswami released, and he said that we're going to hit all of these milestones. And guess what? They've hit them all except for this last one here. So in September 2024, we're going to get out these versions. They're going to be much more improved. We're going to have these new features. In October, we're going to have even more new features. They hit them all pretty well close to on time, if not about a week late, maybe for the Cybertruck FSD and things like that. And then they said that they'd have FSD in China in Q1, and we were all very afraid last week. Now it came out. So now we're just waiting for FSD in Europe. I'm very, I'm not sure that this is going to happen in Q1, but what's your thoughts about the progress for FSD at this point?
Well, I think the adoption in China is going to be very, very rapid because, China has a way of getting their bureaucracy out of the way. We have a way of putting bureaucracy in the way.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but I think it's going to happen in China even faster than it happens here. And that'll be a good thing because if we can shame this administration, I mean, it couldn't have happened under the Biden administration, but if we can show this administration the importance of it in China, the curtains will open, the band will play, we'll be on our way. So we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
Okay. Well, so FSD in China's been well received. We talked about in the last show that it's actually gone viral, 1.3 billion views already of the FSD being driven.
I'm talking about true autonomy in China.
Robotaxi. Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
we
As
can
soon as
get
they
that,
start approving it and they start showing that they've got Robotaxi, which, it'd be a shame if we had a state here saying, no, you have to abide these rules first. And yeah,
we'll just dial President Trump and say, hey. But, there are some states that would be very anxious to get it.
But okay, so FSD and Robotaxi, everything seems to be on track in your mind, right?
Yeah.
FSD, the technology, you've been raving about it. I have been too for the last, I've got 4 weeks now, no interventions.
I'm not alone. It's passed the wife test.
Yes, mine as well, by the way.
That's the key. That's the absolute key. And I don't mean the wife driving in the passenger seat. I mean the wife driving the FSD
Turning on.
or allowing the FSD to drive her. So once it's passed that test, to me, we're on the roll. It's downhill all the way. I think we're there.
Even I prefer to put it on now than not put it on, and I'm not putting it on because I want to test it anymore. I'm putting it on because I actually feel like I'm a better driver. It's a better feeling, a better safe. I feel safer.
No question.
Well, I'm at that point, and just like you said, the spouse, the significant others are also saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So that the tech is proving well. We'll see if it has the magnitude change. But then again, in the last show we showed that Tesla's actually applied for permits in California. So all these little things need to line up in place. But so far, June is still on track. So
yeah, I'd love to see the Robotaxi roll out, in mid-June, be active in Austin. I'd love to be in Austin when it comes out. I'll drive to Austin just to be there when it rolls out and take a first drive in it, get a first ride in it.
And Cybercab looks like that's on path. We had Omar, what's his name? One of the top Tesla executives. He posted something recently saying that Cybercab production is, can't remember exact words, but it's basically meaning that it's already on its way in Giga, Texas. We saw hiring of staff for the Cybercab production. So even that seems to be on path because they're promising that's going to be in full scale production in 2026, which means that somewhere before early part, they should start producing numbers.
Yep.
Anything else that I'm missing? What else are you thinking that was really important for you? And forget the stock falling. But what is it that you're following that you're going, okay, this is still a company
I'm watching deliveries out of China Energy Factory. I'm very interested in that. I think that's important for the long term and for where we're going. I think I'm looking for an announcement about the next energy factory, the next megapack factory, because they talked about a second one and
third.
Well, I mean a second new one. So the third one, you're right. And so that's, I think, highly important anyway, from my perspective. And then, hiding in the wings is the humanoid bot. I mean, Optimus is kind of hiding in the wings right now. We've seen a lot of noise from Figure. We're hearing a lot of stuff about Aptronic looking good. So these are massive sea change issues. This is going to be the most exciting 12 months in Tesla's history, in my judgment, the most exciting 12 months in Tesla's history.
Are you concerned? Some people are saying that the lack of demos, the lack of more information coming from the humanoid bot for Optimus and Tesla means that they might be behind. My perspective is Tesla does not need to show you demos like the other companies do. They don't need to do that, and they shouldn't be doing that. What they'll do,
this reading of the tea leaves with every demo and the excitement when a demo comes out. I mean, it's not very productive. Okay, it's not productive. We've been told there'll be a few thousand bots this year in the factories. We've been told, to expect something like 5,000 next year. I mean, we've been given a roadmap. Let's, just hold our water. I mean, come on, guys. This is adulthood. They've given us a roadmap. They're executing against that roadmap. They don't have to they're not Figure. They don't have to rush out every other day to raise, big bucks. They're not a startup. They've got $36 billion in the bank. They can afford to keep close to the chest. I mean, every now and again, they'll come out and show something, but I have no doubt that they will deliver, that they'll execute against their roadmap.
And then the other big thing, I guess, so if I step back and go, what's the most important thing for Tesla? Of course, the vehicles are still important, but really what matters is full self-driving and path to robotaxi, the robots, and AI. How are you feeling about the progress of Tesla and the AI? What we've heard so far is Cortex, which is Tesla's AI data center in Giga, Texas. It's got 50,000 H100s. That's about us all we've heard so far. Any thoughts on, are you happy with the progress so far? Are you,
Yeah, I'm very happy with where we are, but Joe Tegmeyer has surmised that this new building that they're putting up, and it's a very large one, and the power supply is rolling in for it, is going to be a new, Cortex or Cortex 2 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very, very happy about that because it looks to me like they're doubling down, and there's a lot to double down for. There are so many opportunities once you have this additional capabilities in the car and you got this additional inference. There's so much possibility of what you can do. Remember, FSD is just the first step. Now you've got a robot on wheels with embodied AI. Now you can really start building product, all kinds of product from that. So the world has just begun.
It's crazy. So curious, I know you don't want to talk about it, but what's happening with the stock? Why is the stock in free fall? If all these things we said about it's all looking like it's all very positive in terms of the things that matter, the signal over
There's
the
a very
noise.
negative political sentiment in one half of the country, and it happens to be the half of the country that has fairly significant investment funds and a half of the country that's been buying Tesla. So that's a negative driver. There's no doubt about it. It's creating headwinds. But I am very complacent about it. And the reason is that I think this government is going to succeed in significantly reducing the deficit through multiple methods, putting us on a much better track. And I think that this crazy negative stuff, all this Nazi stuff, I think it's going to blow over, and I think we're going to be fine. So I regard it as an opportunity, and I've been buying additional stock. I bought some last month. I'm going to buy some more. I'm on a plan that I'm executing. So I'm very positive, very positive. The more negative it gets out there, the more positive I become.
Okay. Well, that's very cool to hear you say that, because obviously it's peak Elon hate. There is protests happening, even my local mall right now, don't buy Teslas. Europe, the US is getting, at first we didn't know, we can't gauge how big of a deal this is. We really don't know, but it seems to be happening, and it's got to impact the stock for sure. Maybe some of the volume sales in the cars, but you're thinking, your mind, it's kind of like people will forget eventually, like the second half of this year, as opposed to continuing to build and become even more of a issue.
Yeah, so the fringe elements are the ones shouting the very nasty stuff.
Right.
They're impacting people who are, of that political persuasion, on that side of the political divide. I think it's a fever. I think it'll pass, particularly if this administration succeeds in tamping down this gigantic deficit. This deficit is far more important than the stock price of Tesla. Trust me, it is. It's a generational threat to the safety of the country.
Yeah, if they are able to show that they can cut the deficit and the interest rates and so forth, then that gets us back to a risk-on environment where people are willing to invest. Yes. And then that is going to benefit growth companies like Tesla. And so it's not like it's Tesla specific per se, but it's just in general.
It's Tesla specific because of this anti-Musk sentiment.
Oh, you think that eventually he'll come out of this as a hero as opposed to the villain at this point? Okay.
Yeah, I think it is already a hero for some, but I think those people who look upon him as a villain will recalibrate. If this administration succeeds in doing what it set out to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit here. We talked about covered energy. You got the new Model Y, the more affordable vehicles. We got the progress of FSD, the progress of Robotaxi, and you got the AI and Optimus. I never will forget Optimus. By the way, I still maintain, tell me if I'm wrong, because we often do disagree. I actually don't think that the stock price will jump in June. I actually don't think it's going to jump because of Robotaxi, even if they start rolling this out to multiple cities by the end of this year. I think these are going to be small pilots, and it will take until they have bigger rollouts with bigger numbers in following year. And I actually think that what's going to make the stock jump is 2,000 robots in a factory. Visually seeing 2,000 robots, it's easier for investors to put two and two together that this is a massive business. I'm not sure that that's I'm just leaning towards in that direction at this point. Am I wrong?
I don't know, because I really don't know what the stock will do.
Yeah.
I'm. It's, this is a meme stock, so it can go crazy in the short term. It can go down in the short term. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't much care. I think we're looking fairly. One of the things that we were wrong about, significantly wrong about, is the vehicle margins and vehicle volumes. We were wrong. I was wrong. Everybody was wrong at a very significant clip.
Yep.
And it's taken much longer to get to autonomy than we bargained for. What we didn't bargain for, we didn't think about, was Optimus.
Yeah.
And what we didn't think about was this whole
how fast that was going to come. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, there are so many things happening. To say the stock price is going to do this then, all I know is that this company is going to be generating enormous cash flows as these products mature, if these products come to fruition. And I've got a very high level of confidence that they will come to fruition with this management.
Yeah, there's so many shots on goal. That's the thing. And we don't know which one will be delayed, which one will go ahead, which one will not work. And then, like you say, the other thing is that new shots on goal will come. All of a sudden they're going to say, hey, we're building not Optimus, but other form factors or bots. And now we're building homes.
It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. It's going to be what arises out of having embodied AI. Embodied AI is going to change a lot of things. So it's very hard to even predict what they're going to be, but they're going to be some very significant evolutions of opportunity.
Thank you so much. This is a great show. I love the way you think and the advice you give. Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Evan.
Follow Larry Goldberg at Tesla Larry on X. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.